So in the last class, I told you something about direct speech and indirect speech, and you also tried your best to understand the problems that I discussed in the last class. And today, I like to tell you something more about how to transform our direct speech into indirect speech, and how we connect one speech with another speech if the speeches are from the same speaker. Then what adverbs are to be used there to connect one speech with another speech. So anyway, first of all, I like to draw your attention. I like to draw your attention to passage narration. Just look at this speech. This is a question that I have selected from your test papers. And I hope if you practice these exercises that have been incorporated into this text, then I think it will be easier for you to understand it. The question, where did you go yesterday? Said Nusrat. Tonima said, I went to my village home to see my mother. She is suffering from high blood pressure. Is she sound now? Yes, she is out of danger, said Tonima. So at first, your duty is to read the passage thoroughly. From beginning to the end, you will read the passage minutely and thoroughly. And that will help you understand the relationship between the speakers. And that will also help you identify the speakers. And if you can identify the speakers and the speeches of the speakers, then I think you will be able to transform it to indirect, is it? But if you read the first sentence and start your attempt, and then second sentence and you just take your attempt ahead, if you proceed in this way, then I think you will have lots of chances to make mistakes. If you want to avoid mistakes, you should have patience, that is, read the passage minutely and passionately, and then try to transform it into indirect. Okay. So when we recite this passage, we find that there are two speakers, and the conversation takes place between Nusrat and Tonima. The conversation takes place between Nusrat and Tonima. And both these persons are she. If you think of their pronouns, you will find that these two persons will be replaced by the pronoun she. And there is another she in this passage. That is my mother. My mother. This is another she. So you will have a chance to be confused regarding the identity of she. For that reason, you have to mark. You have to identify the pronoun. You have to refer to the noun. Okay. So anyway, now let's solve it. Where did you go yesterday? Said Nusrat. Now Nusrat said to Tonima. It is not written here that Nusrat said to Tonima, but we will have to consider Tonima, and we have to read the next sentence if we want to bring Tonima under our consideration. Suppose indirect. Nusrat asked Tonima. So why do I use asked? I use asked because the reported speech is interrogating. If the reported speech is interrogating, then the reporting verb will be asked. It will be replaced by asked or inquired of. Inquired of. Anyway, we have to write here, Nusrat asked Tolima, why? Another important thing that I like to remind you, whatever sentence it may be an interrogative sentence, or it may be an imperative sentence, or it may be an exclamatory sentence or objective sentence. Whatever sentence may be in direct speech, whenever you will transform it into indirect, it must be assertive. That is, indirect speech is always assertive. Just keep it in mind. And what is the structure of an assertive sentence? In an assertive sentence, we have to write here at first the subject and then verb. We write subject and then verb. For that reason, we have written here he, and then the auxiliary verb had, and main verb gone. And if the reported speech starts with WH question, WH, who, which, what, whom, whose, why. So if the reported speech starts with WH question, you must not replace it with if or whether. You need not put if or whether. Okay? Then the inverted comma will be omitted and the WH question will remain. That is, the WH word will remain intact at the beginning of the reported speech when you will transform it into indirect. Anyway, Nusrat asked Tonima where we have got this where in the beginning of the reported speech. So we have put it here intact. We have put it here unchanged. So where she. Where did you go? You refers to Tonima. You refers to Tonima. And Tonima is a she. Tonima is not he. For that reason, we have written here she. Now, who is this she? She may refer to Tonima's mother. She may refer to Nusrat. So she is a confusing pronoun here. And if we find any confusing pronoun in our reported speech, then we have to remove the confusion by putting a noun just within the brackets beside it. Okay? So we have written here T for Tony. Or if you think that you will write the full name, then it's also okay. Understand? If you put the full name, then it's also okay. All right? Yes. Okay. So we have written here she had gone. As the reported speech is in past indefinite tense, where did you go? In past indefinite tense. For that reason, in indirect speech, we have put here past perfect tense. If it is past indefinite, then it will be past perfect. Okay? For that reason, we have written she had gone the previous day. That is, yesterday will be replaced by previous day. Or you may also replace it by the day before. If we find yesterday in direct speech. In indirect speech, it will be the previous day or the day before. Why do we change it? We change it to keep the meaning intact. If you do not change it, the meaning will be different and conflicting. The meaning will be conflicting. So to remove this conflicting situation, we must use the previous day in place of yesterday. Okay, in place of yesterday. Anyway, now come to the next sentence. Just read it aloud. Tonima said, I went to my village home to see my mother. She is suffering from high blood pressure. As the first speech was a question, and this very speech is delivered in response to the first question, for that reason, we have to replace the reporting verb with reply or answer. Reply or answer. For that reason, we have written here, Tonima replied that I went to my village home to see my mother. This is an assertive sentence. Inverted comma will be replaced by that. That is a conjunction here. She had gone to her village home. Who is this she? Tonima. Okay, Tonima replied that she had. You may write here T if you want to remove the confusion, or if you think that if I write she, then it will overlap the other she of this sentence. Then you may write T or Tonima within two brackets. Anyway, she had gone to her village home. She had gone to her village home to see her mother and added that. So why have I written and added that? Because the same speaker speaks subsequently, that is one after another. If the speech of the same speaker occurs side by side or successively, that is one after another, then you will add the successive speech with the previous speech with an adverb. Suppose further, or suppose again, or suppose also. Suppose also said, again said, further said, or you may also write added. Added means also said. Added means also said. You must not write she also added. Added means also said or again said. All right? That is said in addition. Said in addition. For that reason, we have written added. So if you write added, you must not add also or again or but. All right? To see her mother and added that, or and further said that, or again said that, or also said that. Okay? Or another important thing that I like to remind you, you may also put a full stop here. Suppose Tonima replied that she had gone to her village home to see her mother. You may put a full stop here. To see her mother. After to see her mother, you may put a full stop here. Then you will say Tonima added that, or she added that, or she again said, or she further said, or she also said. You may put a full stop here. And if you don't put a full stop here, you will write and. And will serve as a conjunction and connect the next part with the previous part of this sentence. Okay. So and added that, or further said that, and again said that, or also said that she, that is her mother, she is suffering from high blood pressure. So who is this she? Tonima's mother. So just think of the behavior of she in this passage. She occurs several times in this passage, and all the speakers are here female speakers. Female. Tonima is a female speaker. Nusrat is a female speaker. And mother, about whom this discussion is going on, is also a female person. For that reason, we have to clarify this pronoun. That is, whom does this pronoun refer? For that reason, we have written here her mother. She was suffering. We have written here was because our reported speech is in present continuous tense. So when we will transform it into indirect, it will be past continuous. Okay? So she was suffering from high blood pressure. Understand? She was suffering from high blood pressure. And then, is she sound now? Now, who has put this question? Nusrat. Yes, she is out of danger, said Tonima. Nusrat asked her, that is Tonima, if she means mother, so I have written here in, or you may also write here the full spelling, the whole word, that is mother, was sound then. Now will be replaced by then. Tonima replied that she was. Hey, you must not write replied in the affirmative or replied in the negative. All right? You must not write replied in the affirmative or replied in the negative, because that is an outdated expression. Replied in the affirmative is an old English. Replied in the negative is an old English. In modern English, we say, we usually repeat the verb that occurs previously. That is, if she was sound. So if it is yes, then Tonima replied that she was. If it is no, then Tonima replied that she was not. Okay, you must not write replied in the affirmative or replied in the negative. I repeatedly request you to follow this particular instruction. Replied in the affirmative and replied in the negative are old English, and we should not use this English in our script. Okay? Tonima replied that she was and added that. Or you may also say and further said that. Okay? You may also write further. F-U-R-T-H-E-R. Further said that. Or you may also write also said that, or again said that. She was out of danger. She means mother. So I have put here M. M for mother. She was out of danger. Okay. So from this very discussion, or the passage that I have already changed into indirect, some particular points have become clear to us. Number one, we have to read the whole passage patiently from beginning to the end. And that very reading will help us identify the speakers. Okay? That will help us identify the speakers. Remember this. It's very important. Number two, another important thing is that when we will find the same pronoun, used repeatedly, then what should we do? Then we will clarify that pronoun. Suppose we find here she several times, and she may refer to Tonima, She may also refer to Musra. She may refer to mother. So what pronoun refers to whom, that is very important, and we have to very carefully mark or identify that very noun. That is that pronoun, whom does it, or to what particular noun does it refer? We have to show it within brackets. That is called clarification of pronoun, or pronoun reference. This is number 2. Number 3, if the same speaker delivers several speeches one after another, then we have to connect the next sentence with the previous sentence with added or further said or again said or also said. If it is present tense, then we will say again says, further says, also says. Okay, you have to keep your eyes open and you have to keep your mind alert. Otherwise, you will have the chance to commit mistake. It may be a grammatical mistake, or it may be a spelling mistake, or it may be a mistake in selection of proper pronoun or proper noun. Okay. Then the last point that I have told you is, if you find yes or if you find no in response to the previous question, then you will not write replied in the affirmative or replied in the negative. You will just repeat the verb. The verb that occurs in the previous sentence will be used in your reply. If it is yes, then the affirmative form of the verb will be used, and if it is no, then you will have to use the negative form of the verb. All right, I think all these points are very clear, and if you practice repeatedly, then all these things will be clearer, more clarified to you. Now I like to draw your kind attention to another important exercise. Okay, another important exercise. I just like to select an easy one for you, as we have just started it. I don't want to make you anxious. Anyway, okay, come to question number 20. Question number 20. It is an easy one. Question number 20. Question number 20 is for your benefit. I have magnified the font. Indirect. Okay. You will tell me the answer. So what techniques should you keep in mind? I have already told you that you have to read the whole passage at first very carefully. So let's read the passage. Why are you absent? Said the teacher. The principal is very angry with you. Go to him at once. I was seriously ill, said Celine. The teacher said, you have to show the medical certificate to in this case. Let me show my medical certificate, sir. So after reading this whole passage, we have learned that there are two speakers here. One is teacher and the other speaker is Celine. And this passage is about, or this passage involves another person. That very person is the principal. So we find here three persons: teacher, Celine, and principal. And all these three persons are male persons, male, not female. So if you think of their pronouns, then that very pronoun will be he. And again, he may create confusion. What particular he refers to the teacher, or what particular he refers to the principal, or what particular he refers to Selim. You have to clarify this thing. Okay, let's start. Then I think the problems will be solved. Why are you absent? Said the teacher. Now, whom does the teacher say? The teacher says to Selim. So we will write the teacher asked Selim. The teacher asked Selim. Then why are you absent? It's an interrogative sentence. For that reason, I have written here asked. Asked is a substitute for this verb, that is said, reporting verb. And we have to omit or delete this inverted comma, or we have to replace this inverted comma with a conjunction. But the reported speech starts with a WH question. Why? For that reason, we must not put here a conjunction. We have to put here why. If the WH word is found at the beginning of the speech, we must put it intact. Okay? We must not change it. So why? Why are you absent means why are you? You refers to Selim, and Selim is he. Okay, Selim is he. You may write here S. That is why he. Are that is present indefinite tense. If it is present indefinite tense in indirect speech, it will be past indefinite. That is was. Okay. Why he was absent. Why he was absent. The principal is very angry with you. This very speech also comes from the teacher. The same speaker speaks. Okay. So I may write the teacher again said, or you may say he again said. Okay. Or for removing confusion, I like to write here the teacher. The teacher. Okay. The teacher again said to him. Said to him. Again said to him. Said to Selim. That the principal is very angry with you. The principal is very angry with you. This is an assertive sentence. As it is an assertive sentence, we have to replace the inverted comma with that. Okay, we have to replace the inverted comma with that. Okay. The teacher again said to him that the principal was very angry with him. Very angry with him. With you means with him. Then go to him at once. Hey, this very speech also comes from the same speaker. So he further ordered him. Him means Selim. Okay? He further ordered him. He further ordered him. I will have to say further, or also you may write here also. He further ordered him to go to him to him to go to him. Him means principal. Him means principal. To go to him. To go to him at once. At once. All right. I was seriously ill, said Selim. Selim now speaks. And Selim speaks in response to the question of the teacher. Why are you absent? Just mark the beginning of this passage. The passage starts with the question of the teacher. And now Selim replies to the question of the teacher. For that reason, we will say Selim replied that. Selim replied that I was seriously ill. I means he. He, Selim. I was. This is past indefinite. If the direct speech is past indefinite, then indirect will be past perfect. That is, he had. Had is an auxiliary, and been is the principal verb. Okay, been is the past participle of was. Am is are, present. Was were, past. Been, this is past participle. Okay, so had is here an auxiliary of past perfect tense, and been is the principal. So he had been seriously ill. He had been seriously ill. Okay, he had been seriously ill, said Selim. That is Selim replied. The teacher said, you have to show the medical certificate in this case. So the teacher now advised him. Okay, the teacher suggested him, you have to, or if you do not understand whether it is a suggestion or whether it is an advice, then you may write the teacher told that. Okay, it is very simple. The teacher told that. The teacher told that. Now you have to show the medical certificate in this case. You have to means he had to. He had to. He means Selim. He had to show the. He had to show the medical certificate. He had to show the medical certificate. In this case means in that case. So this will be replaced by that. This will be replaced by that. Okay. Now let me show my medical certificate, sir. Who says this? It is said by Selim. Okay. It is said by Selim. Let me show my medical certificate, sir. If you find sir in direct speech, in indirect speech you will use an adverb respectfully, but you should not write addressing as sir. This is an old English. Okay, you will not write addressing as sir. You will write just said respectfully. Anyway, Selim told that. Selim that. Selim told that to let him show his medical certificate. To let him show his medical certificate. Okay. Told Selim told the teacher. You may write here, the teacher, respectfully. Respectfully. Okay? Selim told the teacher respectfully to let him show his medical cert. The speech starts with let. Just think of it. The speech starts with let. You must not mistake, or you must not consider it to be a proposal and commit a mistake. It is not a proposal. If the sentence starts with let us go or let us do this, if the speaker involves the listener in his action, then it is a proposal. If I say let us go, this is a proposal. But if I say let me go, this is not a proposal. Okay? It may be a request, or it may be an urge of begging permission, but it is not a proposal. Okay? So from our discussion, some important points have been clear. We have to read the passage very minutely, then try to identify the speaker and the listener. Then if we find any confusing pronoun, then we have to clarify it. And last of all, we must maintain the use of conjunctions, proper conjunctions.